everybody, and welcome to this episode, which might even be the 40th episode, I think, of the Lovebird podcast. As always, I never remember what episode I'm up to, but it'll have been somewhere. It's down in the title. But yes, I am here. My name is Julianne. Thank you so much for dropping by today. I don't have a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to whip through this pretty quick so I can get on, because I know last week was quite long, so I don't want to do that again. Definitely not. It took a long time to edit and upload, and of course it's going to chew up more of your day as well. I do have my washing going, so you might hear my washing machine going. But yeah, I'm here. I've only got two things really to talk about that I have been working on, and no, it is not the Husbeast sweater. That is not being worked on in this last week. So pretty much I'm working on a brand new cast on, which I cast on last night, and if that date is significant to you at all, you may know what that is. And the other thing is I've been working on my Autumn League sweater, because I cannot put down that yarn, so I will pick it up now and we'll have a chat about it. Okay, so this is the sweater that I showed you last week, and I told you how I adored the yarn that I got from Spotlight, which is something that is not usually something that I would say, that I was enamored with some yarn from Spotlight, but I am. This is the keepsake yarn. As I mentioned, it is 100% non-superwash yarn from South America. They don't actually give a breed name, so it could be anything. It's very soft, so it's probably something to do with merino. And they're all organic and pretty much natural colours. So I am knitting my sweater out of the charcoal colorway. So it looks a little bit blue in my viewfinder. So as you can see, I've gotten quite far not more far. Grammar's my strong point today, obviously, rare form. I've gotten a lot further than what you saw last week. I am currently working on my front piece. As I said, you do the raglan shaping, which I have finished. I'll turn it around so you can see the back. So you start with raglan shaping. See, I've got my waist yarn there. So my shoulders are all done, and I'm currently working my way down the front section. And I can't remember, I know I tried to describe this little triangle piece last week, so that is what I was referring to. It's like one of those little athletic jumper motif little touches. But yeah, I'm still loving this yarn. I still adore picking it up because it is so nice. I really want to buy all of it. Yeah, I'm just knitting backwards and forwards at this point in time. The yarn is so squishy, it's so pillowy and squishy, and I just love it. That's why I want to buy all the yarn, because this fabric, you probably can't tell really. I mean, I love the marled look of it. I always do like marled yarn, that real heathered look. Yeah, it's just so squishy. It's just making such a gorgeous sweater, which is exactly what I was hoping and let's say expecting, because the yarn was so lovely. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I love it a lot. I should be putting it down to work on Simon's sweater, but at this point that hasn't happened. I'm a bad wife. I'm a very bad wife. But that is where I'm going. I'm working out my progress here with my stitch markers. I've got to get to 10.5 inches before I start my bottom ribbing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm about 7 inches down, and that's from the point where you actually cast on 6 stitches. You can kind of see that there, this bit here. You cast on 6 stitches, and that becomes part of your underarm section of the sweater. So that is my Autumn League. That is about as much as I've mostly been knitting, apart from this cast on that I started last night. This is all I have been working on. And it's delicious. And although I should be working on Simon's jumper, I don't really have any regrets. And I will get on to what I have also been working on. But before I do, you have probably noticed that I am wearing my So Faded. I have worn it for the last 2 days. She still has not had a block. because I was supposed to give her a block, but I haven't done that just yet. And I've been wearing her. I must say though, the weather is a little bit cold. This is more of a transitional season piece, I think, because it's doing enough to keep me less cold, but I am still quite cold. So I'm probably going to have to revert back to my thicker sweaters pretty soon, but I've just been so excited about this that I wanted to wear it. And I am. And she fits like a glove. The length is fantastic. You'll probably recall I wasn't sure how long to make this sweater, and I measured it against my no frills, and it was longer than my no frills, including the ribbing. So I thought I'd better start the ribbing at that point. But yeah, it is the perfect length, and I think I will in future use this sweater to measure future sweaters on, because I do actually really like the length of this sweater. And as I mentioned, that the sleeves I thought might be a little bit tight, but they're not. They're perfect. They fit perfectly well. They're a little bit short at this point in time, but I think that's probably because the garter stitch has not been blocked out and it's not relaxed yet. So I think I'll probably end up with some more length in the arms once that happens. But bracelet length, which is about what it is, sits right on the sort of the bone of my wrist. Perfectly useful length. So even if they don't grow, I'm fine with it. But yeah, I will get on to the other thing that I have been working on. Okay, now is where we get serious. This is going to be a spoiler. So this is the Stillness MKAL by Helen Stewart, Curious Handmade. And the first clue only came out last night. It is Friday for me today. It's Friday the 26th of June. Yes, the first clue only came out very late last night. It was probably about 8 o'clock last night. I wound up my first ball of yarn and I started the first section of the clue. So if you aren't interested in seeing this, or you don't want to be spoiled, probably not that you aren't interested, it's just that you don't want to be spoiled on what the pattern is, I will put a time down here somewhere so that you are aware of when you can duck back into the podcast. Not that I really probably have very much to talk about at the end, but I will put that timestamp there for you if you do not want to be spoiled. So you have been warned. I will continue now. So this is this Stillness MKAL, which is a shawl pattern by Helen Stewart, and it is a make along. So we are knitting along, and I'm trucking along on my first clue. Like I said just before, let's show you first of all. I started this red section last night. So this is my colorway Fireheart, that red, it's beautiful. Yeah, I started just that section last night because I hadn't wound my cakes of the other two colors just yet. But this is where I'm at. I think I'm about 2/3 of the way through clue 1. I've got 2 more pages worth of knitting left to go. I think, yes, 2 more pages of knitting left to go. I'm nearly done with page 6. So this is where we are. It is a half pie shawl. So a pie shawl, as you probably know, is the big circular, told you words are my thing today, circular shawl. So a half pie obviously is a half circular shawl. It's kind of like a crescent shawl, not as much. Crescent shawls tend to be longer on the edges and very, very long. This is going to be a semicircle. So, what can I say? This is my yarn, obviously. I've spoken about this on Instagram a lot. I don't know if I've mentioned it here. I am using 3 skeins of my own hand-dyed yarn on my singles base. And this one that I've got attached, I forgot to bring the other 2 over, of course, but this is Penny. This is the same as the hat that I wore, that I showed you last week. The ribbed Erie hat that I showed you last week was knit from this same color. And I'm using Fireheart, which I just showed you, that red, and Flushed, which is actually this color here on my sweater. So this is how they are. So you start off with your first color there, then you've got a stripy section, and then I'm now on to some stockinette in the Penny color here. But I think there's going to be, from what I saw, there's going to be some sort of texture or something happening. So that's going to be coming up before the end of clue 1. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I think the colors look a bit strange on my viewfinder. In real life, there's not a huge contrast except really between Fireheart and the other two. But it's looking a little bit orange on my viewfinder. It's not quite that orange in real life. It's a bit more muted. Well, I don't know what it will look like on the computer once it all finally comes through. But I'm really happy with how the colours are playing together. I basically used, because I wasn't sure how to pick my colours, and I basically took the clues that Helen wrote in the pattern where she's got, you know, what was it? Colour A is going to be the real pop. It's going to be used for lace. So I thought, well, Fireheart is very much different to these other two colours. So I thought that should really be my poppy colour, because it's you know, you can clearly see that it's different from the other two. And then she said that B will be striped and have some texture. So that is Penny. Penny is going to be the textured and striped colour. And colour C, she said, should be your brightest, most wild, speckly out of the three. And Flushed is that. So Flushed has got a lot more contrast in there. You can see there's a lot more sort of, I don't want to say interest, because all of the skeins are very shaded, very complex kind of shaded bases, colorways. But yeah, Flushed has got a lot more speckle. So I thought, well, okay, it's the lightest of the colors. It's got the speckle. It's got that bright pinky red in it. So that's probably my more wild color out of the three. They're all fairly subdued, to be honest. But I'm loving this so far. It's so much fun. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how the colors are knitting up. I think Flushed, compared to Penny and Fireheart, which are very much made to be together, like, you know, it was just like a match made in heaven, the Flushed is very much a contrast compared to those two, and it does have a little bit more of an orange kind of slant to the color. So orange isn't necessarily my jam, which I think I spoke about how I created Just Peachy to be like an orange that I actually do like. So yeah, I like it looking at it. I don't, you know, since I put it up on my viewfinder, I actually dislike it compared to what I'm seeing in real life. So I'll just stick with what I've got in real life. And I think the thing is too, is that Penny is a little bit of like a browny pinky colour. And I think the Flushed is making the Penny look more brown than the pink. So, I mean, looking at that, you'd say that would be like a pinky colour. Definitely a pinky red brown. But yeah, so it's just interesting to see the colours play together. I'm sure eventually it will be gorgeous. So I'm not going to be ripping out. I'm not going to be changing my colour. But yeah, it just looks really odd on the viewfinder. So it's just kind of spun me a little bit for a loop seeing that. But that is all I've been working on. So that is it. That is all she wrote, guys. There's nothing else really happening. I have swapped my website this week to a new host, I suppose. I am now using Shopify for my shop, which is something I've been thinking about for quite a while, and I've been able to have some extra things incorporated there that I couldn't do with my previous site. So I can schedule my listings, which doesn't affect you guys, but it affects me a lot. It means I do not need to be available at a computer to upload my listings at update time. So that all just gets done automatically for me, so long as I've got them all up there prior. I can have Afterpay now, so if you would like to manage your money a little bit better when purchasing some of my yarn, you are very welcome to use Afterpay, just so that you can split those payments over the 2 months. And I also have the ability now to have stock numbers on each listing, which was something that people were asking me for. So on there, it now says we have X number of whatever in stock, so which is really handy. So if you are going there and you do find that you need more, you can obviously go to the custom order page and do that there, instead of hoping that you can put what you need in the cart and finding it's not there. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I can now have stock levels on my listing pages. So please do check it out. You will need to sign up again if you are a previous customer, obviously, because it's a brand new website. I've tried to make it as similar as possible to my old website, so it all feels very familiar and you don't get confused with what's where and all that kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of what this week has been all about, is getting that up and running and making sure everything's working, and you know, making sure all the info's on there, and to make your shopping experience as easy as possible. And for personal stuff, I've just been working pretty much. I've been doing a lot of work. I've been dyeing a lot of yarn. I've been really enjoying the yarn dyeing. I've been really inspired, and I've been loving my time at the pots. So that's something I've been doing. And tonight, Simon and I are actually going out for dinner. I'm so excited. We have literally been hanging out for the pub for a really long time. We really miss going out and just having a basic pub meal, just getting a schnitty and a beer and just spending some time together. So we have booked in tonight because they are still working with you know, limited social distancing kind of numbers within the restaurant. So I made sure that I booked so that we can get in and get our food, and I'm so excited. So yeah, we're just going up to our local, which is just a pub at the shopping centre, and they've got really good food, really good service, and yeah, we can't wait to get back in there and start helping them continue on again. It's been a really long time since we've gone out and had a nice meal together, and I can't wait. I'm really, really excited. Other than that, I've started a new diet protocol this week. As I've told you on here, I do have a second channel about my dieting, but I haven't posted on there for a really long time. But I have been doing fasting on and off for quite a while. I started the year out doing alternate day fasting, which is quite a struggle because you basically don't eat for 36 hours. I found that relatively hard, but I've just started a new fasting protocol, and I'm doing 1 meal a day. So I basically don't eat all day, and then I have dinner. So I have a 2-hour eating window between 6 and 8, and yeah, it's working really well for me now. Mornings are the worst. I wake up and I kind of feel a little bit hungry, but then by the afternoon it's all disappeared, and then I can just make my way through to dinner. So that's been working really well. So hopefully you'll see less of me week by week as well. But yeah, that is kind of where we're at. I'm working on my health, and I get to go out for dinner with my husband, and I'm feeling very inspired at the dye pot. So I'd love to thank you all for being around and for being viewers and customers and hanging in there with me, and I really do appreciate you all. And yeah, I'm just very grateful for everybody who has come into my life because of all this yarny goodness. So I really do hope that you all have a fantastic week, and as always, if you enjoyed this very short and sweet episode, please do give me a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithms, who are trying to kill everybody on YouTube at the moment, kill all the channels. And if you really loved it, make sure that you are subscribed. I do try and do one of these every week as much as possible. And if you want any further information, if you want to see my project pages on Ravelry and things like that, please do head down to the description, and there'll be links to everything I spoke about down there. So until next time, happy knitting, happy crafting, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!